Okay, let me go back a little bit. So, I said my topic is how to learn, build, and maintain a successful tech career. And I introduced myself as Amara Metu from Nigeria, Africa. So, I'm here because I love to give presentations, and then you can find me on Twitter at Metu. Okay, the highlights for today, I'll be talking about starting off in tech, following a curated learning path or curve, putting yourself out there, and then how to maintain a successful track record. Okay, I'll be going over to my first highlight for the day, starting off in tech. What I wished I knew 5 years ago. Seneca said every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So whatever you're doing or whatever you're going into, someone has actually done that before. I would say starting off in technology, in any technology career can seem daunting, but having direction is good. Knowing where you're going, what you want to do, what you plan to achieve with what you're doing is very, very good. So now how to start off is what I'm going to be talking about. Technology is actually a very, very, very vast and broad field. So, here's what you're supposed to do to start off. You're supposed to list all the possible tech careers, both the non-coding and the coding. Then you list out all their following programming languages or tools for both the non-coding or the coding careers. You know how they are applied, that is the applications. You check out the latest technological trends in that area, and then you could look out for non-coding areas for non-coders, because some people like they freak out when they hear coding and the whole programming, writing program and all that. So I listed out some of the coding areas and then the non-coding tech careers. So for the coding tech careers, we have data science, we have data analysis, we have web development, we have software engineering, we have cyber security, and then we have app development. And then for the non-coding tech careers, we have technical writing, graphics design, UI UX, user interface and slash user experience. We have the quality assurance engineer, the search engine optimist specialist, and we have the IT business analyst. So some of these coding tech careers, like I earlier said, we want to look at their languages, we want to look at how they are applied. For web development, look, we're strictly front end. We have some of the languages which are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Vue, and Angular. And HTML, CSS are not programming languages; they're just the languages of the web. And then what do we use web development for? We use it to create fully functional and responsive web pages. Then for machine learning, we have some of the programming languages which are Python, R, I repeated it, Julia, and then some other languages too that could be used in machine learning. And what is machine learning used for? Machine learning is used for developing, creating, and deploying of models. And then we have the mobile app development, which include tools for developing apps are Kotlin, Android, React Native, and Flutter. And then mobile app development is simply used for creations of mobile applications. So then we have cyber security. We have Python, and then cyber security is simply protection of the web, both data, and internet information, and everything that has to do with the web. What you must know for after listing them out, knowing their tools and their languages and their applications, you should also look at what the latest technologies in any field. So you won't get into the part of learning an outdated language or a tool, because as trends keep changing, you should know what's happening in that field so that you also be revolving, because one thing about technology that it is very dynamic. You can't be rigid. You have to also dynamic to keep moving, to keep learning, and keep updating yourself. So over to the second highlight of the day, which is following a curated learning path or core, which I subbed at avoiding the tutorial hell. So how to learn is very important, because I could tell you learn web development, learn mobile, learn machine learning, learn cyber security, and I don't give you direction. Like I said earlier, direction is very much important. So after looking at all the specific carriers, their tools, their languages, and their applications for non-coders and coders, you should look out for documentations of whatever you choose, whatever area you choose. Look out for the documentations. Read, know the documentations of the areas, their languages, and articles, so that you can have an understanding of you have a basic concept, and then note them systematically, because it's going to actually help you in your learning. You don't just jump off and then start doing your own thing. So you have to read the documentations, know what you're doing, know how people, how, because every area have their own standards of learning, have their own standards of writing, even programming languages. We have syntax, what we call syntax. So it's important that you don't just choose an area and then language. You note how things are done. So you could also the next step is to look for a good boot camp or follow curated learning paths. So we have our first beautiful front end foxes. Our boot camp will be starting off very soon. We have Code Academy. We have front end masters. We have free code camp. These are actually curated learning paths which will guide you and solidify your foundation, because having a very proper foundation is important. So over to getting a mentor. It's important that you get a mentor. Learning on your own is good, but getting a mentor who has experience, who has gone ahead of you, seen the nitty-gritties of what you're about getting into, will advise you to avoid the loopholes he or she had, and would also skyrocket your journey. Maybe what took the person 6 months, because you have a mentor, he or she is going to help you get into that thing within 3 months or a shorter time. So have learning colleagues. You were in technology, we are a lot of tech communities. You don't just do things you say you want to do on your own. No, that's not what technology is all about. It's all about collaboration. It's all about having people who challenge you. It's all about going out there. I have a problem. Oh, this person is learning Python with me. Okay, how do we, okay, I have this challenge and what do I do? How do I go about it? And you learn, and you find out that it keeps you in your track. If you're learning alone, if you hit something very difficult, you could actually drop out. So challenge yourself by joining coding challenges on good platforms. We have lots of coding challenges platforms such as HackerRank, Lead Code. You test your skills, because we can't know what you can do until you're tested. So when you do those challenges, you put yourself out there, you're actually building yourself. Don't be scared to leave your comfort zone. And then finally, you have to build projects. Is one thing to learn, and then it's another thing to build projects. Let there be evidences of what you're doing, or whatever you're doing. For example, you build websites, you show us, you put your knowledge into good use, because nobody's going to build you, nobody's going to employ you based on what you know. Yes, it's one thing, but what you have built is another thing. So, okay, I'm going to be moving over to the third highlight of the day, which is putting yourself out there. So, putting yourself out there. How much of a digital footprint tells us about you? So when Karen Fosim said, if you want to be seen, you have to put yourself out there. Is that simple? When you put yourself out there, people are going to be able to find you and learn of your capabilities. They will want to become your client or do business with you or join in on projects you're working on. So imagine I'm building the next Facebook or the next Twitter, something bigger than that, and I'm building it on my own. I don't let tech community know what I'm doing. It won't get the recognition it needs. And because actually, whatever you're building for the general public. So it's important that whatever you're doing, whatever you're learning, the projects you're building, you're putting it out there. Make yourself known. So the process is easy. What you need to do first, you need to how to put yourself out there. Join a community and be active. We have our front end foxes community on Slack. We have our presence on LinkedIn, Slack, Twitter. In fact, every social media platform you can think of, so you have to join the community. You're joining for the first time. We have a community, so join us. That is where you will be able to meet people from all over the world. People doing amazing stuff. People working in, you know, or FANG or MAC companies. You'll be able to meet them, ask your questions, network, collaborate, and learn. So having a strong social media presence. Some of us, our Twitter, we are not active. LinkedIn, we are not active. How will people know what you're doing? How will you put yourself out there? So it's important, if you don't have a Twitter account, get one, be active, follow us on Twitter, follow our founder, know what she has in stock for us, and be active. So that's where putting yourself out there. Then over to asking questions. You do not know it all. It's important. That's why we're a community. You ask your questions, whatever difficulties. Nobody's going to laugh at you. All of us had times when we were in your shoes. So we are going to be it's going to be very comfortable with you. You're going to love the experience. So back to the next. Network. When you get into these communities, network, meet people, learn to network, talk to people, know where they're from, identify with them. And the talking is simply identifying with people. So you can see Front End Foxes is not an African or a Nigerian. Our founder is not a Nigerian African, but you can see now me, I'm benefiting from it. That's the product of networking. That's the product of networking. So network. Like I say, be active. Don't just open your social media and then you say I've opened it. Be active. You know, interact. That's what social media is all about. So attend events both on site and virtual. So you have to be active also in and around, the remote, the 2020 shifted a lot of things. So we have opportunities of going virtual and then having on-site programs. So the ones you can't attend physically, join online, hear what is happening. That's how you're going to know the trends and how to build yourself. You're going to learn a lot from this. So if you want to really stand out, network. I know a lot of people that are so good with their skills and everything, but because they don't have the right network, they actually aren't there. People who have lesser skills than they are actually doing better than them, because those other sets have the right network. So it is important to build your network. So another way to put yourself out there is by volunteering. Volunteer to speak at events, volunteer to teach, volunteer to mentor, volunteer for a lot of things, planning events, helping people, because we are first humans, and love is actually the basics of humanity. When for example, I'm organizing an event and you reach out to me and say, hey, I see what you're doing, I want to help out in a way I can, any way I can, and then I give you some tasks to do it well. Once an opportunity comes, it is paramount that I would reach out to you first, say, oh, you need this, oh, wow, 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 okay, look at this opportunity, and I refer you, recommend you. A lot of people have gotten big opportunities through volunteering. So volunteer. Remember that you're first human. Love is the basis of humanity. So another thing is celebrating your small wins. Don't look at any win you get as small. Celebrate it in a large way. Because it's not easy. A lot of people are not putting themselves out there, and then for you to be putting yourself out there is important. Celebrate your small wins. So be yourself, and be unique. Be yourself. Don't try to be another person. Be yourself. Be unique. You're yourself. Be yourself and be unique. Okay, so over to the last highlight, of our topic is how to maintain a successful career. So we have looked at how to start off. We have looked at how to learn. And then third slide, we looked at how to put yourself out there. And then now we are going to be looking at how to maintain a successful career, because you can choose a career, you can choose to learn, you can start off, but we find out that the percentage at the end of the day is that we are actually few, especially for the ladies. We are actually few people that actually reach the end of what they are doing. You can say, okay, I want to be a successful front end developer. I want to build a website for a so and so purpose. But at the end of the day, within 3 months, 6 months, you're down. Nobody sees you, nobody hears of you, you know. So it's important to know how to maintain that record, how to maintain it over time. Because what pays is consistency and persistence and being gritty. Nobody's gonna reward you okay, nobody's gonna reward you or know you if you start something and leave it. They will see you as a coward. But how to maintain this is what we're going to be looking at now. So, like I say, I'll just they are just all of them are actually intertwined. Networking, learning, and giving back. You know, when you network, one thing about putting yourself out there is, people know you, people are now watching you to see what you can do, and that fear of, you know, making, at some point you become people laughing at you, oh, that you gave up. It's actually a push. It's actually something that's gonna drive you. So it's important when you network, you say people know you. You sometimes you want to give up on yourself, but you remember, the people that messaged and told you, oh, it's because of you I'm learning front end development. Oh, it's because of you I'm learning mobile app. Oh, it's because of you I'm learning cyber security. You just hold on. So you learn, you keep learning. Technology, like I said, is dynamic. It's dynamic. It's not rigid. Something disturbing me. So learning is very important. Learning is very, very important. You keep learning, you keep knowing the latest trends, you keep learning, knowing the latest technologies, you keep knowing people who are making groundbreaking things in that sector and following them, knowing how they did their things, irrespective of background, because here in Africa, we have lots of challenges, lots of challenges. I must tell you, we have the electricity challenge, we have mobile data, a lot of challenges. But it's left to you to say, I'm not going to give up. Never give up. Never give up. Because you're going to look at yourself in 5, 10 years from now and discover, see people whom you are much better than doing things that you should have done and gone far from. So never give up. Sometimes I can tell you, as a female, the only encouragement I sometimes have is just her. I made some vows to myself, I made some promises to myself, because nobody is gonna support you, give you the support, except those who understand what you're doing. They're not going to give you the support. So it's left for you to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give in. Nobody's going to intimidate me. Nobody's going to oppress me. So, like in these 2 or 3 columns, I'll be talking on the ways to remain great, to stay, to maintain that track record. So, be persistent. Be persistent. Focus on your outcome. Get clear on what you're working on, working towards, and why is what pursuing. If something is important enough to you, then you will surely find a way. Focus on the outcome. One day, that one day you're going to be earning fat salaries or whatever. You're going to be so comfortable, your family is going to be comfortable, your society is going to. So it's important for you to focus on the outcome, know what you want. If, for example, if I'm hungry now, I know I can go to any length to ensure that I eat. So that's the same approach towards learning, towards technology. You have to pursue, know what you want, and it's important to find a way, always find a way. When this way is not working, look out to the other way. Then enlist support. Doing it alone is the hard way. Reach out, like I said, collaborate, ask for support. We have a community. We have the front end Foxes community, a very vibrant and good community. So Come and join us. Come and we'll give you the necessary support. Whatever you're building, you want to push yourself out there, our founder will support you. We will also support you. So be gritty, the power of passion and perseverance for long-term goals while focusing on making smaller ones daily to hit the big goal. You have a big goal, maybe to see yourself in a $15 billion mansion. How do you achieve that goal? Make sure you have the passion, you're passionate, you're perseverant about it, and then taking daily steps. What do I do every day? What do I do every day to hit that goal? Let's say in 5 years' time. What do I do? So this is very important. Make sure that you are taking those steps daily. Don't just say, "Oh, I'll do this in 10 years' time," and then you're not working hard. You're not working towards it. So be gritty. Be gritty about it. Own it. Own it. You own it. We're all created to be great. Don't have a fixed mindset. Don't have a small mindset. And then finally, never give up. Hold on to your visions and dreams because all your visions and dreams are very valid and must be fulfilled by you. Nobody else is going to fulfill your vision and dreams. And even if you hand over to somebody, the person is not going to be so passionate and, they're not going to be so gritty about it like you. So be passionate about what you want. Go for your visions and dreams because they're valid, very valid. They can turn out to be the next big thing we are waiting for. The world is waiting for because technology, like I said, is dynamic. All of us are getting tired of the normal the system now, and so there's a shift. Like Web 2, there's a shift now to Web 3.0. There's a transition. So you don't have to give up on your dreams and your vision because they're valid and only you can fulfill it. So that's why we are humans. We are unique. So and then I want to, okay, I'm rounding up here. I want to thank all our amazing sponsors. And then I also want to thank and celebrate our founder. Our founder, Jen, she has been awesome. She has been amazing. She has been there for us, asking, questions and questions and questions. She has been really good. So I would also say thank you every single lady or anybody at all who took out time to join us today. So and I'll be throwing the floor open for questions. Questions now.
Awesome. Oh my goodness, Amara, the chat is going crazy. We're so galvanized and we're so, I'm very emotional actually. So I was really, really happy to hear such a wonderful talk to kick off our Front End Foxes Day. Wonderful presentation. I think everyone is very, very happy to hear you come and speak. So yes, we have a couple of minutes for questions from the audience, and we had one. Let's see if I can find it. It was about how to find the best way to search for jobs after finishing a tech boot camp. This is actually a good question, and it's a challenge. This is from Ajit. Any ideas?
Okay. Once you finish learning, you should already be active in a community. You already be, like I said, you have to be in a community. So aside learning, you should also have a portfolio. Where your portfolio is simply like what you do, who you are, like what it speaks volume of you. So okay, there are a lot of platforms. There are lots of platforms you could start applying for jobs. There's Indeed. There are lots of them. There's Clever Job. There are lots of them where you could start putting your CV there to companies. But what is very important is to network. Why I talked about networking is when you know people who are already in those companies, they give you recommendation, which plays a vital role. People are applying, and then your portfolio or your resume is already up, is already number one. So they are actually going to give you that, special treatment, which is the truth. Which is the truth. We are all humans. We are emotional. Nobody can. We can't deny that fact. So be good. Start applying for jobs, and then make sure you write your portfolio. Matches the job description. For example, they are looking for somebody with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You don't use a portfolio showing Python or some other programming languages. So it's important to also know how to structure your portfolio, not structure your resume. In our community, such happens. We train people to know how to do this. In fact, after our boot camp, you will have a portfolio. So it's important to join us and know what we are doing and be part of it.
Yeah, it's funny because the next talk is going to be about building your portfolio. So it's really perfect, a perfect
Yes.
product placement. So that's excitement. Yeah, and I'm a hiring manager, so I hire a lot of folks, and I want to see those amazing resumes as well. So it's always a pleasure when I see something come across my desk that fits that bill perfectly. It's beautiful. Let's see. So here's another very interesting question, and it's a big challenge. This is from Claudia. Among some students of mine, I see the desperation to learn everything at the same time, and in these cases, I see poor resumes and poor showable skills. How can I deal with that? Because the whole tech vista is so wide. This is a question about how to find focus.
Okay. Yes. Like I said, it boils down to you didn't do your proper your due diligence, or what I say, proper research before starting off. Tech is a very beautiful, interesting. Why do I say so? When you go for events, you see somebody working in Microsoft, Facebook, and you'll be like, wow, wow, I want to get there. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. If you go through all the tech careers, you find that they are so interesting and lovely, and you feel like doing everything, but you can't do everything. So that's why you have to do your research. Once you do your research for mobile app development, for front end, you know what each area entails, and focus. No need of jumping from here to here. You find out that you become a jack of all trades and master of none. Do you understand? So you have to choose one. For example, you chose front end development. You look at the skills required: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all that, React, Angular, Vue, and then you focus there. You see your friend doing back end, don't just jump there. Don't jump there, because it's going to confuse you. You're not yet solid. Once you have learned to build projects over time and you're sure you're very, very solid, you can now move over to the back end. You understand? So, or look for another career, because sometimes you could actually be doing front end and you find out that it's not your thing. So you have to go back to your board. Okay, look at the careers, look at what they're doing, look at what each of them entails, then pick one. But don't be excited. Even though technology is interesting and exciting, it's basically, it's not about excitement. It's about you being consistent and building things that will actually matter.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to say that Amara is one of our mentors in our boot camp, and for any student who is working with her is a lucky, lucky person. I'm so grateful that you were able to come and speak to us and give us a little taste of your passion for these topics. And I think the chat has been reflecting the excitement that we're all feeling. So thank you so
Wow.
much. Thank you so much for this. This is
Yeah.
wonderful.